Okay, when you're coming in for the casting and sheet metal lab, you're going to start with part of what we do for casting. We're only going to do the last part of it, not the first part. The first part is to make the mold. And what I've had students do in the past is make some assemblies like this, assemble them, put it into, as you'll learn later, it would be called a flask, pour the silicon over it, but then it has to cure for 24 hours, so we don't really have time to do that. And when it's done, you end up with a mold like this that has the cavity and something you can pour into. And we are going to do that. And this is the first thing you do when you come in is you'll do this. It might be set up in another part of the room, but I couldn't get the camera over there. So you'll see where it is. Now, what we're going to do is mix equal amounts of this polyurethane casting resin. And I'll have a cup here for you, and there's going to be a couple of marks on the inside, and you use equal amounts of this material. So you're going to pour part, doesn't matter whether you pour part B or part A first, but be sure to seal it up, make sure it's closed tightly, and put it aside. If you were to get a few drops of the different parts in here, you will have a big mess. It'll harden up and cost the university about 150 bucks. So just be sure that each part you pour, you seal it back up right away. Now we're going to do equally to the top here. You'll notice the angle at which I'm pouring. It really does work better when you're working with these kind of cans to pour it. You know, you want to think you want to pour this way, but you really want to have your opening as high as possible so you don't get parts glugging up. Now, you've got to stir it. And you really, really do need to stir this stuff. If you don't, it won't harden up completely. And it has what's called a pot life of 5 minutes, which means that it'll start hardening in 5 minutes. So get it going really good. Stir it for, at least a minute, 2 minutes. And you want to really mix it up. If you don't mix it up, like I say, it won't harden. Then, after it's hardened, pour it into one of the cavities. If you overfilled, you can fill up the next one, but if you do it to the marks, you'll have just enough to do one. And then leave it. The reason I have you do this first before you do the sheet metal part of this is so that this will harden up. It's 15 minutes, but it's not very exciting to see what happens. It actually kind of is in a little bit. It'll start changing color, and you can actually feel the warmth of it. You feel the warmth of what's hardening up left in the can and just in the mixing cup. And don't touch it because you just get plastic on your hand. It won't hurt. But we'll leave that, and we'll come back to it once it's hardened.